One of my followers, Marty, who lives in the Philippines, asked me if I could show how to make some sauerkraut because he really has trouble to get it there. I have to admit I've never done that myself before, but I've done my research. So yeah, today I will bake my very first sauerkraut and you will be there to witness it. Making sauerkraut basically means fermenting food, and for that you will need, except for the ingredients, a jar that makes that possible. So there are different kinds of jars out there. You can get a mason jar with a special lid that makes it possible that some air gets out of the jar but nothing gets in, or you can use one of these kind of jars. This is something that is also used for kimchi. You can put your fermenting food in there, then you add some water on the rim here, put the lid on it, and the bubbles can, get out of here through the pressure that is created in the jar, and the water keeps the air from outside from getting in there. So whatever you decide to buy, there are also some plastic variations out there. I personally do not like any kind of plastic in my house. I try to avoid it as much as possible, and so I decided to get this kind of jar, and I hope it will make me very happy in the future. I really like it. Okay, so the ingredients that you need is, of course, you need a cabbage, and this cabbage has more or less exactly 1 kilogram of weight, which makes it quite easy for me to calculate the rest of my ingredients. So you need like 10 to 15 juniper berries. You need bay leaf. Optional, and I still don't like it, some caraway seeds. Most people put them in there. As I said, I don't like caraway seeds, so I will not use them. I'll just put them over there. You need 20 grams of salt per kilogram of cabbage. And so I've already weighted that, and quite optional, but I saw it in a video and I thought it sounds really good and I might like it, especially if I want to eat this sauerkraut raw. Some people put some apple slices into the jar in a layer in between, and I thought that's something I would like to try out. So that's what I'm doing, but these apples are optional. You can leave them out. So you can also make this just with the salt and the cabbage and leave everything else out. I've seen recipes like that a lot, but I like to give it a little more of a taste, and that's why I decided to follow a recipe that has some spices in it. Okay, so for starting, I'm supposed to cut this into 4 pieces, and I sharpened the knife, but obviously near enough. Okay, got it. Okay. Oh, I forgot something. I should have left some of the large leaves out. Maybe it's not too late. Okay, that mistake is something that should not happen to you. So before you cut it, you take some of the leaves from the cabbage and put them aside, because you need them later to put them on top of it. Okay, I think I will still manage. So I remove the stem and put it aside. Okay, and then you start to very thinly and finely cut it. Some people use a mandolin to cut this into very small stripes. I don't have that, and it's too large to fit into my kitchen machine, so I will just do this by hand. So obviously I was capable of cutting this very thinly, even without a special sauerkraut mandolin. And yeah, so I put this all in this large bowl. There's one more thing I want to mention. So people stressed that you should definitely use organic cabbage because they have more of the bacteria, this lacto acid bacteria, I think it's called in English, and it ferments a lot better than a commercially grown cabbage with some chemicals in and on it. So that's probably something you should try to get, an organic cabbage. Yeah. So now next I have to add the salt. And this cabbage is, it's March now, so it's been probably in the store for a while. It's also been in my fridge for a little bit. It's not as juicy as I would like it to be. I think during summer you will have a much more juicy cabbage where more liquid comes out. But I'll give this a little time with the salt now to create some liquid, and then I will be back and show you how I put this into the jar. Yeah, I let this stand now for like 10 minutes, and let me see if there's a little bit juice that has come out here. Not as much as I would want to, so I will probably have to add some of my filtered water. And I'm basically kneading this now a little bit. This might also get some more of the water out. You can see a little here on the bottom. But this is definitely not enough for what I'm planning to do. And of course you have to work very clean, so I washed everything thoroughly, and we only want to grow the beneficial bacteria in here for the fermentation and not those that would spoil this food. So this kneading makes this all a little softer. I can really feel this with my hands. And there's a little more liquid coming out now. So maybe I'm good on this part. Okay, it seems that the kneading is really helping with getting more liquid in here. You see this here? It's a lot more than when I started to knead this. Okay, I think that's good enough. So now I'm going to put the juniper berries on the bottom. I could mix them in too, but then it makes it difficult to get them out later. You don't want to eat these. So same with the bay leaf. I'll just throw this in here. And now I start to fill the sauerkraut into this pot. And this pot has an opening that is wide enough for my hand to go in there, so I can really press this very firm down here. And it's too bad that this is not something you can look through, so you have just to trust me that I press this down very, very much with a lot of pressure. And there are actually even special tools for that in Germany, to press sauerkraut in a jar, but I can do this with my fist. Alright. And I want the liquid to be in here, so it's not something I would avoid, it's the opposite, I need it here. And the pressing down should remove all the air that might still be in between these little scraps of sauerkraut or cabbage. So far it's only cabbage, not sauerkraut yet. Okay. And now let me add a little bit of apple. So I quickly cut these and now I put them in a layer here onto the sauerkraut. I'm adding some more. Press it down again. And here you see that I'm adding the remaining liquid. And this should be enough to cover it, and it is. Very good. So I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't have enough of the liquid, but I do have, and I'm pressing this all down even more. All right. So it's very important that this cabbage is down under the water. So, and that's where usually this large leaf of the cabbage would come into the play. So it's supposed to be on top of it. So since I've accidentally cut it before, I thought of leaving one of these leaves. I will just kind of assemble them and put them in here, just on top, and press it down again. So this is supposed to kind of hold this all in place so that nothing is like floating on top. See? Yeah, this works. I don't know if you can see it with the camera. Let me zoom in. So this is what it looks like now. Okay. Now I have two weights here that came not with the jar, but that you can buy separately. And if you have a mason jar, they have some sort of weights too. These weights go on top of this and keep it all down. If you do not have a weight and you have a different kind of jar or whatever, another method is to use like a small little bowl and put it on this to just weigh it down, maybe put something heavy on top of that. But I have these weights here, and I put them in, press it down one more time, and that's it. So I'll still add a little more water because some of the larger leaves are peeking out, and I'm a little worried that they might rot. So in order to avoid that, I'm adding just a little more liquid. Okay, so now I'm cleaning the rim here, and I'm adding some water on this rim and put the lid on top. So now it should be sealed from the outside, but there's still the possibility of air bubbles coming out. Some people suggested to put this jar or their jar on a kind of plate or something, because sometimes things spill over. I don't think this is happening here with my jar. First of all, it's different than the jars that I've seen in other videos or in other pictures on recipes. Also, it's not completely filled to the top, it's like 2/3 filled. So I think there's enough space for expansion in there. I put this on a place now where it's not too warm, not too cold, for 3 to 6 days. And after that time, I will put it into the fridge for about 3 weeks. And that's the earliest that it will be ready to eat. I can leave it for a year and it will still be good. But after 3 weeks you can eat your sauerkraut that should be fermented and ready to eat by then. Yeah, I hope this is gonna turn out well. I think once the 3 weeks have passed and I'm ready to try it, I will make another video so you can see what happened to it. So wait for part 2. If you watch this video at a later date, this is probably already posted, the part 2, and you will see it at the end as a link and can just move on to that. I hope you liked this video. I hope it wasn't too confusing. I think I didn't really nail it because I made a little mistake at the beginning, but I think I walked through quite well. And yeah, so I hope it works for you too. Thanks for watching and see you in my next video.